Now, just something I want you to be aware of. We are getting an 8 of a 9 count here with the Saturday session. Again, possible pullback could be coming. Sometimes these counts, they play out immediately. We had a 13 count mark the December top. We had a 9 count the day after the January top. We had a count right here where we got a bounce, and that was all that amounted to it. It was a counter trend. But then we got our 13 count, and again, we went lower. It played out. Again, sometimes you get the count, you end up going lower, or you get the count and you go higher. Times, like over here, it plays out immediately. It just shows price exhaustion. So just to be aware that we are getting an 8 of a 9 count. But like I said, if Trump ends up announcing formal negotiations with China, if ends up pausing or reducing the Chinese tariffs, the stock market soar, we could see Bitcoin go much higher on that, above 100,000, before any kind of meaningful pullback. We'll be watching. Now, don't read too much into this. This is just showing prices are starting to get tired. We've risen nearly 29% off of the April 7th low. So again, in 3 weeks, we have risen by nearly 29%. You got an 8 of a 9 bar here. Again, you can get a 9 count. You could still go higher. Happens a lot, so be aware of that. But I'm just telling you, it's still possible that if we do pull back immediately or go higher and pull back, you can back test the breakout of the double bottom pattern here, our double bottom confirmation line, or you can back test the trend line right here. And again, I'm showing you in this video, the confirmation line is at the 200 period. The back test of the trend line is at the 50 period. Eventually, we could pull back to the 50 or the 200 as the 50 comes back up and tries to get back above the 200 period, which is going to happen. And again, the death cross has likely marked a bottom here with Bitcoin. So often does. Don't read too much into the count. It doesn't mean Bitcoin's, oh, it's topped, it's over. No. We might get a pullback at some point. Maybe it's a mild pullback. We just simply don't know. And again, you can get the 9 count and just keep going before you get the pullback. The 9 and 13 over here, we just had a mild pullback. Over here, a mild pullback. Here we had reversals. Here it was just a mild rebound back up to back test the 50 period moving average. So again, don't read too much into it, but just be aware that Sunday, if we close above the bar from 4 bars ago, we'll have a 9 count fleeting that may give us a mild pullback. Or again, if we go back into 2024, again, here we had a 9 count, gave us a mild pullback, but look what followed. And then you got a 9 count right here, completing at 9.9, but you still went higher. Do you understand what I'm saying? Before we came down and sold off, this 9 count marked a bottom. This 9 count was right after the top. Here we got a 9 count just for a bounce. So again, read too much into it. I'm just telling you, it's showing price exhaustion, but it might be we just get a pullback, a mild pullback, and see something like this. Or get a 9 count and get something like this where we go higher before we get any kind of meaningful pullback. Now here we did get an immediate pullback, but we still ended up going higher before we got this larger decline. So again, it can play out different ways. Maybe we backtest the breakout of the double bottom. Maybe we backtest the trend line. The best moves don't backtest, but you could test the 50. You could test the 200. 200's black. The 50's green. You could test these as eventually the 50's curling up now. It's eventually going to get back above that 200 period. Please support the channel with the link directly below. That allows me to be able to provide you this information. If you like the charts, you like the indicators, let me know that by supporting the channel today. Follow the link below. It'll take you to a secured site and you can donate any amount you want or make it a recurring donation. If you do that, I thank you for your consideration for that. Well, it's a Saturday session for Bitcoin. It's got about 6 more hours till the close. It is down at the moment 0.35%. Again, we've seen the double bottom breakout. We've seen the downward trend breakout. Bitcoin has broken out. Bitcoin continues to hold above the pink line, which is the 100 period moving average. If Bitcoin can continue to hold above it or pull back to just under it and back test, again, that's extremely bullish. The fact that we have bounced up Bitcoin's average price down here, again, horizontal support at 74,000. The Bitcoin average price, the 50-week moving average, all bullish stuff. You got the bears with their heads exploding right now because they told us this rally wasn't going to happen. I told you it was. I told you I had bottoming signals on the 7th and the 9th. Those signals flipped momentum a few days later. On the 11th, days following, we saw momentum signals slip. Then we began in the consolidation to see the trend signal slip. And then when we had the breakout of the downtrend, we saw pretty much all of the signals, the trend signals, began to turn back to bullish when we broke the downward trend and surged above the 200 and horizontal resistance. You now have confirmation of a double bottom pattern bouncing off key support. The bottom is in. The bears are telling us, oh, no, it's a counter trend rally and we're done. They've been saying this through the entire rally. Again, if Bitcoin loses its average price, if it loses the 74,000 area, I continue to say it, that's extremely bearish. And again, the fact that we're bouncing off of these levels, extremely bullish. Extremely bullish on Bitcoin. Again, accumulated a position surrounding 200 period moving average, first just above it, and then dips below it over here, and then more over here at Bitcoin's average price. Now paid off. Extremely bullish. And I think we're going to new highs. We're going to go above $150,000, and we may go well above $150,000. Again, detour down has bought Bitcoin more time, and the more time we bought, the higher it's going to go. I just want to say, look, extremely bullish now, but when we rise up to my target levels, I'm going to get extremely bearish. I really don't care which way Bitcoin goes, up or down. I really don't care. I make money either way. I'm very, very bullish. When we get a massive rally, what I think will be a 5-leg push higher, I'm going to get it very, very bearish. We got the bullish divergences playing out here on the MACD and up here on the RSI. Again, beautiful divergences. It was negative. Now it's positive. Bearish divergences gave us a December top and later the January top. The bullish divergences have given us the March bottom and the April bottom. And that's formed a massive triple bullish divergence. Over here we had the triple bearish divergence. Really quadruple if you count back over here the first initial divergence and that little tiny divergence right over here at this bottom right here. So again, both of them quadruple divergences if we count that first initial divergence. The strongest reversal signals in technical analysis, the triple and quadruple divergences. And we're above the cloud. We got above the 200. We got above horizontal resistance. We broke the trend line. I told you, even if we pull back to horizontal support and back test this level, then again, you can go higher, or again, go higher and then do it. Because we get a bigger pullback here. Again, if we see trade deals announced next week, which I think we're going to see, if we see ending up pausing the tariffs with China or reducing them, and formal trade negotiations announced with China, we could see Bitcoin go a whole lot higher, above 100,000, before it gets any kind of meaningful pullback. So keep that in mind. I'm saying if we do pull back, again, the back test of the trend line or back test of horizontal support, the breakout of the double bottom, these levels come into play. No requirement that we pull back that much, but if we do, then again, those are support levels. Again, the best moves, listen, the best moves don't pull back. So we'll be watching. At your double bottom confirmation line, again, we're holding above the 100 period moving average. You got the 10 above the 50. Do you see the 50 right here, the green line? It's turning back up. Then now we have the 20, the blue line, back above the 50, and a bullish realignment of the moving averages. Maybe you pull back to this level. The 200 is at horizontal support. The 50 is at the broken downward trend line. Do you see this? The 50 is at the trend line. The 200, the black line, is at horizontal support. So those are support levels should we drop back below the 100 period moving average. It's important that if we drop below the 100 that we get back above it, or we just stay above it. Just stay above it. Bitcoin follows a 100 period moving average. And again, above it, good things start happening. When you're below it, bad things are happening. We lost it over here. We back tested it here. Now we're back above the 100 period moving average, signaling the correction is done and our double bottom is now complete. So again, bullish things happening. Bitcoin will eventually go above 100,000. Again, I told you we were going back above 90,000. We're back above 90,000. I told you we were going to break out above this 88,500 area. We broke out above 88,500. The signals were correct. Nothing goes straight up. We can get a pullback over here. We had a sideways consolidation. We could get a pullback at some point, but we may go a whole lot higher. Did you hear what I just said? We may go a whole lot higher before we get any kind of meaningful pullback. We'll be watching if Trump starts announcing trade deals. If we start seeing Trump pause or reduce the Chinese tariffs and formal negotiations announced, we can get a massive surge above 100,000 very easily. So the RSI in the positive region above 50. We've got the MACD in the positive region, but the stochastic rolling over here. Now, again, that may mean a pause, but it doesn't have to be. You can remain overbought for an extended period of time. So keep that in mind. The stochastic is just looking at short-term moves. But again, MACD positive, that's positive for Bitcoin. That's confirming the uptrend with our bullish diversions. Pring parameter do what it's done in the past. I told you to be watching this. We went negative at the lows. We got the death cross, and it's likely marked a bottom like the death cross over here. Again, by the time we got the death cross, Bitcoin had already, or Bitcoin just bottomed. And same thing back over here. The death cross was associated with the bottom, and this consolidation, and this consolidation, and now this consolidation. It's likely going to be the same way. You're seeing pring parameter firm up right now. You saw pring parameter firm up with the higher low, and over here you saw pring parameter firm back up and go positive. Over here, as we dipped below the 200 period, we ended up getting back above it in these previous consolidations, and we ended up going higher, resuming the advance, getting the 50 back above the 200. You're likely going to see the same thing here again. The bearish scenario would be that we get the death cross and the pring parameter remains in the negative region, and we don't turn and recycle back up and get a bullish cross. Later, we got a bullish cross, but it was just a rally back up to the 200. We got rejection there. Pring parameter remained negative, and the bottom fell out of Bitcoin. You have the opposite happening right now. You have pring parameter firming up, turning back up, and again, coming back here to the positive region right there. And again, we're likely going to move solidly into that positive region area in the coming days ahead. So we might go higher, then pull back immediately, then go higher, but a surge, regardless of whichever way it plays out. I think you're going to see this solid push into the positive region, and then I'll be looking for a larger divergence to eventually develop brand new diversions. It can play out that way as well. Regardless of which way it plays out, Bitcoin is firming up here and likely validating a bottom. You got people telling us that no, we're gonna get another leg down, then bottom. You got other people saying, oh no, but Bitcoin's this is counter trend rally, and then we're gonna see Bitcoin collapse. It's gonna collapse later because of the recession that's coming, but first it's gonna go higher. Or not drop below 74,000, as I said, because if it does, then it's over. And that's what these people don't understand. If you lose the 74,000 area, can't get back above it, it is over. The fact that Bitcoin's bouncing off of that level is extremely bullish, and likely means Bitcoin has bottomed and is starting the next leg higher. Picking up what I'm throwing down. Bitcoin has had a 1-2-3, what I call a 1-2-3 reversal. The trend indicator has turned back into the positive region. We got above the 100 period moving average, the pink line there. We're back above the cloud. This is what happened previously. We ended up getting above the 100 period. We pull back to it and dip below it. We could still do that. Maybe we go higher first. But again, we were consistently holding above it with this advance right here. Consolidation pullback is likely done. Corrected 32% over here. We corrected 33%. We're likely done. Signals can remain consistently bullish, but we've had a 1-2-3 reversal above the 100 period, above the cloud, with the trend indicator turning back into the positive region. For the week right now, we're up 10.83%. We bounced off the 50-week moving average. Here I have both the 50 EMA and the simple moving average as well. Both of them, we bounced off of these levels, and my trend line moved on me here. Sometimes when I hit save, the trend line moves on me. I fixed it here, and again, This looks very similar to what we had back over at this bottom, back over here at this bottom over here. Again, bouncing off the 50-week, bouncing off the 50-week moving average. In both of those cases, the RSI went back into the positive region. RSI went back into the positive region. Now we're seeing the RSI go back into the positive region. Again, we have a breakout. It's being confirmed by the RSI, and we may get a larger divergence developing in the coming months ahead, or we may form a brand new divergence on the RSI here in the weekly time frame. I told you, we need a bounce off the 50-week moving average, and we need a breakout. We got it. This is extremely bullish. The bears told us there was no way this was going to happen and that we were just going to see Bitcoin completely collapse. That'll come later. Right now, Bitcoin's bullish and it's going much higher. It's going to go to new highs. The MACD in the weekly time frame. Let me just zoom out here. We have the MACD trying to curl back up above zero. It's likely going to turn back up and end up forming a massive negative divergence. That's likely going to be the case, that we see Bitcoin rally into the summer or on into the fall, and we end up forming this very large divergence. Stochastics recycling back up. Again, the Bitcoin bottom is in. Signals are back to bullish. Again, at some point we're going to get a pullback, and the bears are going to go. It told us this rally was never going to happen, and it probably will be extended. We'll probably get a bigger rally, and when we do, a significant pullback, bears are going to go, see, the people that told us the rally was never going to happen, they're going to proclaim it's over. They're already doing it now as we've broken out. I posted some comments on social media, and just the amount of negativity from the bears. Bitcoin's going to zero. This is a counter trend rally. Every time it rallies, it fails. Every time it rallies, they say this stuff about bullish. Bitcoin's bottom. The signals say it's bottomed. Now, Bitcoin takes out 74,000 and stays below it. I'll get extremely bearish because that's bearish. What had just happened is bullish. What's going to happen is we're going to go higher, kind of sell off. The bears will start, see, counter trend rally, and Bitcoin will pull back, and then it's going to soar to new highs. They'll finally throw in the towel. Bitcoin's going to, as I keep saying it, from the 74,000 area, Bitcoin is going to double or more than double. And if it doubles, you're talking about going up to the 150,000 area. Again, I think it's likely going to exceed that. But bouncing off the 50 period, bouncing off Bitcoin's average price, bouncing off horizontal support. And again, this is what we did previously. We bounced right here off the horizontal support level from the January high. Over here, we bounced up the horizontal support level right here from this previous peak right over here. Each time we pull back to the previous high and bounced. Previous high, bounced, previous high, and bounced, exactly as the pattern has been going on through this uptrend. Again, the RSI is going to go either make a new divergence or build upon this other one over the next few months, maybe on into the summer or on into the fall, but it's going to happen. Again, I told you we had accumulation previously a couple of weeks ago with Bitcoin. It's given us this rally. Again, I think you get a 5-leg push higher. I think we're going up to this trend line, okay? This is a long-term channel. I think you're going to reach it. Bitcoin makes beautiful, beautiful channels. And again, if this drags out on into August, September, maybe October, again, you're going to be going well above 150,000 if that happens. The longer we take to reach the trend line, the higher Bitcoin goes. If we reach it immediately, it will be lower. But here, I have an example that takes us closer towards 170,000. And a number is not my target. A date is not my target. This trend line right here is my target. If we reach it immediately, well, we're going to be at lower prices. We'll be closer to 150,000. If we take our time reaching it, we'll be at higher prices. We'll be at 160, 170, maybe 175,000, something like that if we take our time reaching it. I think you're going to get this 5-leg push higher. But look, again, I told you about this accumulation that was taking place at the bottom. Again, we saw that here, but then we saw it by distribution. That gave us a sell-off. The signals are showing accumulation and distribution. We now have an accumulation signal, and that remains. So I think that this is going to be a powerful move up. But then I think, again, 3, 4, 5 months down the road, I think Bitcoin will top. Get up there, and remember all the negative sentiment down here, because when we get up there, again, they didn't have this negative sentiment at the December and January top. Okay, and they told us there's no way that the bird and the moon boys told us there's no way the sell-off was going to happen. Extremely bullish at the top, they're extremely bearish at the bottom. So now we're going higher. We'll have some negativity, doubting Thomases telling you we're going to go to new highs, and then the bears are going to end up throwing in the towel up here. The herd will be extremely bullish, and then you're going to get the real rug pull, the real top, the real Bitcoin top, and again, everybody's going to be screaming 300,000, 500,000, a million, and all this other stuff, and Bitcoin's going to top, and it's going to price in the recession, the coming recession, start before this year ends. We're on an accumulation signal with Bitcoin here in the weekly time frame. And I've talked about the Elliott wave count going up into this upper channel. And like I said, way above 150,000 now because we've taken our sweet time, not reaching the trend line over here in December or January, and then pulling back, getting a deeper pullback has bought us more time with Bitcoin. Again, I think you have the intermediate wave 4 done. We have wave 1, wave 2. I think this whole thing was a wave, intermediate wave 3. I think you have 4, and now I think you have intermediate wave 5, and I think you're going up to this upper channel. And then when you reach it, I think Bitcoin's going to top, begin to collapse. And again, I'm extremely bullish now, but when we reach my trend line, when we reach my target, whether it's at 150, 160, 170, 175, or even higher, whenever we reach this trend line, I'm going to get extremely bearish on Bitcoin because it's likely that it's going to top at that trend line of resistance. That's the Elliott wave count. I think we're in the first minor wave of intermediate wave 5, and that would be the red count there, the intermediate wave here, and then I think that'll complete the cycle top, which is primary wave 5. This whole thing, that'll complete the cycle top. So this whole thing's a long wave 5, the longer term bull count. About the bullish diversions on prime parameter. We saw the very same thing in the daily time frame here. We've got it in the 4-hour time frame. We got that 50 back above the 200 with the consolidation. I talked about that at the time. You got the 50 above the 200, and price got the breakout as we've talked about. Again, we could pull back or go much higher and pull back, but at some point you're going to get some kind of pullback. Are extremely bullish as long as the 50 is above the 200 period moving average. Sometimes you pull back to those moving averages, other times you don't. Again, the best moves don't pull back moving averages or the breakout of trend lines, as I've talked about. Prime parameter validating the whole move being in positive territory. The RSI could end up back. We've got a divergence right here, right now. That just may be a short-term pullback. Right now we're pulling back a little bit. We still may end up going higher. It may just be a short-term price fluctuation down. But again, just continue. So signals are bullish. And if we do get a pullback or a bigger pullback, we're getting a small one right now, this divergence. If we get a bigger pullback, just know signals are bullish everywhere, and it's likely going to give us another higher low. Now, my Bitcoin volatility oscillator is confirming a bottom at April. The April bottom, we got above the signal line right here showing an increase in volatility with Bitcoin, but then we bottomed out at 74,000 on Bitcoin and ended up seeing volatility drop down. When volatility rises above the signal line, bad things like over here, Bitcoin's topping, selling off, and collapsing. Right here, we've had short-term peaks as we got just above volatility. It rose as we were consolidating in 2024. Then we broke out. Volatility sharply declined, and now we've gotten back above the signal line, seeing volatility increase. Just the March and April bottoms right here, but now the April bottom risen nearly 29% off of the lows, and Bitcoin seeing the volatility drop. So again, I think it's likely this is signaling the bottom is in, breakout now, and Bitcoin is to resume the advance. But a huge bullish signal for a Bitcoin bottom.